me, Leah, a compound complex sentence?
I don't know how to explain it, but didn't like two
Whatchamacallits. Ooh, that's a good start. It has two something. What does it have?
independent.
Independent, yes. Two independent clauses and
Independent.
one dependent, at least one dependent. You can have more, but it's at least one dependent and two or more independent clauses. All right, let's check.
If you use a compound complex sentence with just billions and billions and billions of dependent clauses, would that still be classified as a string sentence?
Well, I mean, it depends on how you punctuate. Oh, I never did get that sentence for you. I should just read it today because we might have a little extra time, but I'll use that up. My little brother manufactured a sentence that he said was technically grammatically correct. It was 730 words. So, you know, whether it was actually grammatically correct or not, we don't know. Documents. It is kind of an interesting experiment, though. I'm not sure. You know, I would say not super profitable, but interesting. Yeah, I don't have it right now. I'm sure I can get it. Oh, I don't remember where it is. All right. What's the? So we have four principal parts of verb, and we have some verb tenses, right? So our verb tenses our main verb tenses are what? It's our three first ones that we think of.
Present, future, and past.
Present, past, and future. All right. So we'll start with past, we have present, and then we have future. All right. Select a verb for me, Richard. I need a verb.
Fish.
We did fish yesterday. We can't do fish again today.
Hunt.
Hunt?
I'm not hunt.
It's together, don't talk.
Wallop.
Not a wallop. That's way too easy.
Rockets.
How about explain?
Yeah, there we go.
Also done yesterday.
Work.
Work. Okay, well, that's hard, I guess. All right, so our word is work, and that is the present tense. All right. So the thing that I'm concerned about is, so I want to know what the past participle of work is. So we have our four principal verb parts, which you can see at the top of the charts on page 15. Those are our four principal parts. So walk, walking, walked, and walked, or have walked, right? So I want the past participle. That's the principal verb part. All right. So our past participle of work is what?
Adverb.
No, it's just anything with work. So work is our past participle. All right. So this is the one we use for all perfects. Exactly. All perfects get this verb tense. All right. So we have the future tense of work is Leah.
Future tense will
Will work, yes. And the past tense of work, Cody.
Work.
Worked. All right. All right, so now we have our perfects. So the perfects, remember they use the past participle, all of them. So our past perfect uses which helping verb? Richard? Past perfect uses
has. Had.
Had, exactly. Uses had and which word?
Worked.
And worked. Is exactly correct. Remember, all the perfects use this past participle. And Chris, our present perfect.
Has or has.
Have or has worked. That's right. Ooh, what's the E? And Leah, future perfect.
Will have worked.
Will have worked. That's correct. All right. Good enough. Number 1, future perfect. 2, future. 3, present. 4, present perfect. 5, past. 6, past perfect. 7, I think everybody's roughly. Actually, I missed, I think, Leah's.
I don't have slapstick.
Huh? Yeah, well, I didn't put red marks on anybody, I don't think. I'll just jump over that for now. 100% everybody. 13, non-essential. 14, comma after winters. 15, comma after muck duck. That's a funny word. 16, after Mackie and after race. Those are equivalent speaks. 17, circle was. Everyone was. 18 is build. 19 is figure. 20 is a symbol. Underline the whole thing. 21, compound. The 2 sentences are fishing had always been important, and in 1878 the first salmon canneries opened, and it is not underlined. Don't necessarily count wrong, but you're not underlining the conjunction. All right, 22, compound complex. The dependent clause is the first one. Although only a few thousand Alaskans are fishermen. Then underline Alaska is a top fishing state, and then underline salmon is the top catch. 23 is complex. Underline 1 out of every 60 Alaskans is a pilot, and brackets around which is the highest rate in the country. 24, compound complex again. First one is underlined. Mining is another important industry, and then natural gas, silver, or gold, silver, lead, zinc, and oil are all mined in Alaska. The dependent clause is which is the state's top mining project. 25, underlined last winter and all night. In 26,
In 24 which is the state's top line product?
that's in brackets. 27, subject is temperatures, verb is climb. January is an adverbial, so it's January last. This. Because last is describing the January. And that's under your verb.
I have it as a prepositional phrase.
Okay, that is incorrect. Also underneath climbed is never. And also underneath climbed is a prepositional phrase above negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Underneath temperatures is the word thought.
How many wrong is last January?
2 minutes. 28. The subject of your main sentence is Benny Benson. Verb is design. Direct object is flag. Underneath flag is Alaska's. The dependent clause, which is an adjective clause, is who was 13 at the time. So that goes under Benny Benson. Who is the subject? What is the verb? 13 is the predicate adjective, I guess. At the time is a prepositional phrase under was. Dotted line goes between who and Benny Benson. Okay, that's 1 point from displacement. The other dependent clause is he later became an airplane mechanic.
Isn't that an independent clause?
That is a dependent, yeah, an independent clause. My bad. Did I say dependent? So there's a semicolon on the.
Or like, do you just go right through the other sentence?
You can if you have to, but it's easily possible. The subject is he, the verb is became. Underneath became is later. The direct object is either mechanic or airplane mechanic. I suppose it can deal with either one, although airplane should go under mechanic. Technically, probably. And also goes under mechanic. 29. The subject of the first sentence is he. Verb is had. And direct object is sense. Underneath sense is 37. Underneath had is a prepositional phrase, in his pocket. The other independent clause, this is the independent clause, he became this, or in 1966, he became the state's governor in 1966. So there's a semicolon again on the doohickey, joining the verbs, remember, between had and became. So became is the verb, he is the subject, the governor is the predicate nominative, and the Senate, which your line points back. Underneath governor is the states. Underneath became is prepositional phrase in 1966.
Wait, so the dependent clause goes from where to where?
Verb to verb.
I know, but from
The dependent, this is the independent, I was just talking.
I know, but like which
The dependent.
sentence does it describe?
The dependent goes, yeah, the first one.
Okay.
The dependent is when Walter Hinkle moved to Alaska. Walter Hickle, runs his pickle, moves to Alaska. The subject is Walter Hickle. The verb is moved. Underneath moved is the prepositional phrase to Alaska, and it is an adverb clause that goes between had and moved. The dotted line does, and when is on the dotted line. All right, 30. The rescue season is underlined. 31. Quotations around Alaska's flag. 32. Underline Exxon Valdez. That's the name of the ship. And 33. From Houston to Klondike is underlined. 35. Racism. 36. Meteorology. 37. Archaeology. 38. Optimism. 39. Eagle. No, never mind that. Ecology. Ecology. Let's just start reading.
Okay, what is, start over, 35.
All right, 35, racism, 36, meteorology, 37, archaeology, 38, optimism, 39, ecology. 40, pessimism, 41, genealogy, 42, zoology, 43, monotheism, 44, cardiology, 45, patriotism, 46, biology, 47, microbiology, 48, communism, 49, psychology, 50, geology, 51, neurology,
What is
52, 50 is geology, 51 is neurology, 52 theology, 53 ornithology, 54 atheism. There are 100 points in this lesson, so they are worth 1 point.
Okay, what is 41?
41 is genealogy.
What happens if you get to switch?
Oh wait, no. Yeah, you did actually. I got 7. It's not that bad,
The nice thing about those big long sentences is they sure rack up points, but anyway, keep going back and forth between one half point piece for the words. The 1 point word seems to be actually coming out better in general.
You're doing pretty good at it.
All right, so yes, I will need that. It's easy, does it? Go stack that nicely, please. I get tired of having this stack of sheet.
See how good I can do this. Oh, that's not
Nice.
very good.
Stack yours like right there, okay?
Well, hey, they're all touching.
You should have tossed it just right so that you just hit all 3 of them and you went basic games. Yeah.
So a compound complex sentences, how many independent clauses? Compound complexes, how many independents? 2 independents, and how many dependents?
One.
That was 1. How can you identify the verb and noun phrases?
If they describe the
It's
noun.
kind of instinctive.
Yeah,
It's kind of instinctive.
yeah, it's really instinctive for me now.
It's like last
That's
January
right.
is an example of one. It's instinctive except for when you're trying to diagram and when you're determining prepositional phrases.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's just a different level.
Well, I know it's an adverbial whatever, but I can't remember how to diagram it.
Is it blowing really hard or is it just?
I think it's just a window that's open. Correct? No, I'm trying to figure out what is Sam Hill trying to prove, but I wouldn't know the answer. Oh, whoops, I said it. My official bad.
Something about Sam Hill.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, that's kind of obscure, but
What will you give me if I get 0% on this?
you'll get to redo it, actually. And you'll get to redo it.
You get to do it again,
Oh,
yay!
You need to fail again.
I get to do it
No,
twice.
actually, if you hit 70 or more, let's figure out how to redo it for you again.
That's not a fail, right? You wasn't.
No, hit 70 fail. Well, 69. 69 is fail.
So I'll get a 7. Yeah, I'll get a 7.
I would recommend not doing that.
I'm going to get a 71.
I think you'll do better than that. I think you have it in you. Give it your best shot.
And blank now, could I tell you that?
All right.
Attitude.
That's enough. Enough comment. And other people. We do not have to check. It does not count on things. But we're moving on to noun clauses. Once you've done the checking. So we learned about adjective and adverb clauses. What do adjective and adverb clauses do? Adjective clauses specifically act as adjective clauses. Yes, that's one thing for sure. It's a follow nouns.
We start with a relative pronoun.
Yeah, so a relative pronoun. And what do they do exactly? Adjective clauses show action. Nice.
I can't do it.
Uh,
second the motion.
say what?
I'm seconding her
I'll
motion.
throw it.
Adjective clauses show action.
Yeah.
I see. Well, unfortunately, this isn't a democracy, and you're all just still wrong.
I said two of the things that were right. but
I said two things that were
for the
right.
other one.
Okay, so here's the game. What does an adjective do?
Oh, no, that's all I know. Describe all of that.
Describes a noun. Yeah, exactly.
That's
So
actually.
that's what an adjective clause does as well. An adjective clause also describes a noun. So an adverb clause, what does an adverb do?
Follows the verb.
Follows verb. Well, not
Describes
necessarily.
the verb.
Not as close. It describes a verb, or
Or what?
what are some of the things an adverb clause might do? Or an adverb might do? Describes a verb or a
Adverb.
or an adverb.
Isn't there
Or an
adjectives?
adjective. Yeah. So an adverb clause can actually describe those things as well, generally, but we don't actually we do show.
Good.
Like like yeah. So anyway, so that's some of the things. What's an elliptical? An elliptical adverb clause.
It doesn't have, some of it doesn't.
Doesn't have a verb.
Maybe. Sometimes it doesn't have a verb, sometimes it's missing a subject. So basically the deal is it's not all there. Alright. So adverb clauses act like adverbs. Adjective clauses act like adjectives. Noun clauses,
Act like
today's
nouns.
lessons, act like nouns. So
So
now
how
you
do you
find a
find
noun.
nouns?
So where do you find nouns in a sentence? You find them
Before the verb.
as
sometimes.
a, well, what would you call that? Position that a noun holds when it's before a verb.
Subject.
Subject. All right, so you'll find them as a subject. You'll find them as an object of preposition.
Yay. I don't remember.
Exactly. Ooh. Object o yeah, we'll just do it that way. We'll go full Irish on it. Object o preposition. There you go. And you'll find it as a, where's some other place to find it now? Direct object.
Predicate, noun,
Direct object, predicate noun, predicate adjective.
no. Because that's an adjective.
Ah,
Not that.
I see. Thank you for the heads up. All right.
An adjective can't be a noun.
No, unfortunately not.
No, I mean like, a noun can't be an adjective.
Well, it kind of can.
That's what I actually meant. I didn't mean.
It's more common for a noun to be an adverb.
An adverb, I've never found a noun that was an adverb before.
Adverbial nouns. Adverbial noun phrases. That's nouns acting like adverbs. So yes, it's much more common for nouns to act like adverbs. Acting as an adjective, we would often find it like, you know, like if we're talking about this, the ship's mate. So that's kind of a noun acting like an adjective. In this situation, we call it an adjective. But a ship is a noun, correct? Details. All right. We're just describing the meaning. Oh, also, in a positive. A noun clause can also be used in a positive. What's in a positive?
Is it positive and yeah, that's all I read.
No.
Or is it
It like
doesn't.
comes after the noun.
Comes after the noun.
In
Yeah.
parentheses. I mean, in
D.
commas.
In commas, yes. So it describes the noun without what? She's right. It describes the noun without a verb. So, like, well, I would say it like this. The second one is very positive down here. So, my cousin, Weston,
Yeah, cousin Weston.
I do have a cousin Weston. He is actually not the person to be proud of, but that's why he's the subject of this sentence.
I think I actually have a cousin Weston.
He is or
I probably do.
he was a bouncer at a bar, I think. Someone's gonna write that down.
Oh. Oh, boy. Shame.
Yeah, it's not my shame.
You're bringing the bar in here.
Not a person.
My cousin has some monkeys that they're like covering their ears, covering their eyes, and covering their mouth.
Yeah, I have some cousin Weston. I don't understand.
You have one.
All right.
Don't go
Just
back.
because
Just
it
that-
has one doesn't mean we have.
I don't want to
Governor
nurse
said-
inside. I still don't want to
So yes, this
I'm
young
sure I
man. Actually, it's not that young. He's a little older than me, but
You actually a bouncer at a bar.
or he was at any rate.
So you're not really like, you're not really proud of
No,
it.
not particularly. No, he's one of those people. Well, so it was kind of an unfortunate situation where his dad liked his older brother. His older brother was smart. He was a computer whiz and went to college for like 712 years, and then he just makes oodles of money and is basically Bill Gates. But Weston wasn't
Are
the
you
intelligent
friends with
one.
that?
It was kind
Are
of.
you friends with that cousin?
Unfortunately, no, because I think we're probably in here.
Private jet.
You need to get friends with him so we can do
He
it
lives in
too.
Georgia.
Hey,
Yeah,
yeah,
we
we
can
can
all
all
write
write
letters
letters
to
to him.
Write a letter.
Get his address and we'll all write letters to him.
Yeah, well, he's not a very giving person. He's
It's
rich.
kind
Anyway,
It
so
says,
Weston
yeah,
is
you
also
will
not a
see.
very giving person, but he's not rich.
So it doesn't matter.
of, well, that's like,
Doesn't matter now. He is a
So it was like
troubled soul.
Joseph and his brothers.
Kind of. Well, so yeah, it kind of was, except that Weston doesn't have the moral character of Joseph.
Jacob and Esau.
Yeah.
You feel sorry for me?
Well, I kind of do as well, but so his dad was very Calvinistic, which is a whole different. This is very interesting. I didn't keep it.
His one son is destined to heaven and the other one's not.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whoa.
It's too bad this one isn't part of the elect. So
That's great.
we basically just don't.
Now I do feel sorry for Weston.
No, we just don't care about Weston anymore. Anyway, and so then he married a divorced lady, and there's just a complete mess. And then they adopted a child. And, he has
sounds
more metal in his face than anybody else I know. All right.
metal.
Metal.
Like,
Like earrings and stuff.
Earrings,
around
Oh.
studs, things. And she does as well. I mean, it's a.
Wait, right?
You know what? If they would walk next to that,
Yeah.
they would just get sucked in. You know?
I was there like security pictures.
No clue. Maybe she wore it up as a blind. I don't know. Not sure. Anyway,
Well, his son's really
Well,
rich.
lots of people wear earrings and stuff and go to airports. There has to be some.
there's gotta be a way.
I mean, like if you
I'm
can
just
see-
imagining walking through that thing that like spins around you, and I always imagine that there's just kind of like electromagnetic waves floating around it, like walking through the microwave. And it would just make that stuff like heat up in your face. And like, that would be very inconvenient. Anyway,
You
so,
also
Or like
Everything
magnets.
walks.
If you walk through these big magnets, like,
Well, the way
you want to stretch your face apart, your ears go, whoop, you know.
That always
Full
that's how you find all the rings on.
All right, so the
It's
appositive,
a magnet.
the appositive in this sentence, which was our original topic, is what? A bouncer at the bar, yes. This is our positive. Right there is our positive. What is it describing?
No positive phrase.
It is a positive, right? It is describing West. So that's one place that a noun phrase can be
Is
used.
at a bar.
Maybe a second. What's a bouncer?
A bouncer, basically he's a person who, he walks around and looks tough, and if a fight breaks out, he kicks everybody out.
So is he like?
He's like a
big or
policeman.
muscle?
He's like, yeah.
He's short, but he works out quite a bit. He's very, very proud of his physique and his tattoos.
Have you seen that Norman Rockwell painting where this guy, he had these like 5 girls' names and they were all crossed out and
Yeah.
like this was writing another one?
It's really anyway, no, he's not alone. He worked for the sentence, so that's what he did. I've just been thinking of
Good job,
lots of
Wesley.
great-
You worked for Roy.
Good job, Leroy. Stayed in a recess, you've been.
You go put his head in
All
the
right.
corner.
Shove him in the corner like that.
Oh, he's
Or
staring, he's
no,
still
no.
staring at Richard.
I know.
He's mad at Richard.
All right.
He's like, oh,
You
Richard.
and him definitely hang out the most.
So here's the deal.
He wants to be buddies.
I should get one of those darts or something, smash them before and then go over there and going like this.
So a positive and a positive noun phrase can be easily confused with an adjective phrase that starts with the word that. All right. The difference is that the word that in an adjective clause is going to be what? In an adjective clause, it starts with a pronoun, and in a noun clause, it basically that is an introductory word, and that has no in a noun clause it has no use in the sentence, right? So that's the thing. Basically, you look at the sentence, and if it has a different, you look at the phrase, and if it has a different noun in this clause, if the noun is not that, then it is a noun clause used in the positive, which is a little bit confusing. But if you look here at the top of page 16, he gives an example. It says a book that I want is sixpence house. So that's an adjective clause. You see that is the wait, hang on. Yeah, it's the direct object of that clause. So it'll either act as the subject or the direct object of that clause. So a book that I want is sixpence house. In this case, it's working as direct object. I want that. If it's a noun clause, it will just have no part in the sentence at all. So you wind up diagramming it like this. It's an introductory word, and it just goes on a little pedestal, that.
I had a diagram of one of those sentences like that for a few years.
I know, that's what we're doing. All right.
I don't even think, did we listen to it? No.
So what?
We had a diagram.
Have we now?
No.
We did last time.
So the most common, they can also begin with subordinating conjunctions. And the thing about noun
No
clauses,
joke, can't tell me. Wait, someone forgot.
don't make me answer
Someone never put the stuff in. So
stuff in.
yeah, I don't know how to do the.
Boom is
I
in.
don't know how to
Jamie
do
isn't
that.
Leah, actually, you can go do it because.
I don't
you're-
know what temperature is.
190.
190. You might want to, yeah.
Do it. 350, tell
There we go.
You're all gonna get
450.
Maybe just hit, I don't know, like
200.
200 at least.
That's barely God.
2 1/4, sure. 225 will probably.
300.
I would say we'll go hotter than
We're
225.
all bidding here.
Brooke,
Yeah,
man, all right, so Let's look at a few more.
Yeah, and you just kept on going lower.
Most
The
common,
option you
the most common beginnings of a noun clause are that, whether, and if.
That what it is.
That, whether, and if. And those ones,
Yeah, no.
those three, that, whether, and if, remember this, they have no function in the sentence. So you've got to wind up diagramming like this, right?
So number
They
seven.
are not going to be subjects and they're not going to be direct objects. That, whether, and if, those three words.
Then why does it have the him as a direct object or back?
On the top one? Because that is an adjective clause. So they're showing you there the difference between the adjective clause and the noun clause. All right. So if it is being used as anything in the sentence, as a direct object, for instance, it winds up being an adjective clause rather. Okay. Also, relative pronouns or adverbs, you can use those as the subjects or the direct objects of those sentences.
Relative pronouns.
Yes.
Is
And those
that-
will be introductive or relative adverbs. So what?
That is a relative pronoun.
Not when it's in a noun clause. Only when it's in an adjective clause. So this is why noun clauses are a little more tricky. Okay. Here's one way to help identify noun clauses. The word someone or something can be used in place of the entire clause, right? So unless it's in a positive, as in a positive it won't work. But in any other situation, you can say something. So for example, the clause is whoever answered the phone did not give his name. You can say someone or something. Someone did not give his name, right? And you say Lucy said that she was taking chemistry next year. You can say Lucy said something. It's going to be a noun clause. And the reason is because it's acting as a noun. So if you substitute a noun for it, not a noun. If you substitute a noun for it, then it becomes part of it. So, number one, where is your noun clause? Yes, because you can say, those people think something, right? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make that much sense. So it goes from the to 1862. All the way from the to 1862. All right?
Whoever.
Why doesn't it have is it just an understood?
Yes. It would be that, I think, in this situation. All right, and number two, where is our,
Whoever to union.
so what?
Whoever to union.
From whoever to union, yes. What word could you substitute for that?
Someone.
Someone, right. So, but someone still kept ownership. See how you can do that? All right. Number three, Christy.
That to free.
From that to free, that's correct. And number four, Brucey.
From that to. Yeah.
No.
Document.
From that to document. See, however, yeah, so basically you have to have the fact. The fact is not debated. So here we have that the Emancipation Proclamation is an important document. How is it being used in this sentence? You can't substitute someone or something for it, and that's a hint. Is it being used as
A positive.
it's being used as a positive. That's correct.
For where?
It's describing which word?
Fact.
For fact. That's correct. Positives always directly follow the words they modify. All right. 5. All right. So
Object of preposition.
object of preposition is correct. Exactly. And Christy, what about 6?
I didn't hear 5.
Is an object of preposition.
Yeah, I have it. Yeah.
There's OP in there, yes.
Oh, I was gonna say for 6. Okay.
Oh, for 6?
What did it mean now? For
We call it a subject, yes. So it is,
Okay.
it's a noun clause, it's all nouns. They're all acting as nouns, it's just a subject to the sentence. All right, how about 7? Lisa? Right, nominative, yes. Is a linking verb. You're absolutely correct on that one. 8. Chris, what is 8?
Yeah, I think it's direct object.
Direct object, yes. You can say critics say something, if that helps you to sort that out. about 9 verses? It isn't a positive, that's correct. What word is it describing? Fact. And 10. Object of repetition. Good job.
Did adverb clause modify and verb?
Say what?
Don't all adverb clauses modify verbs?
No, some of them modify adjectives, some of them modify adverbs. You can see that happening on actually page 14, number 10. You had a diagram there. The clause, the Latin, something, modifies more. Or opposite. So underneath recognizable is more, right? So you have recognizable, which is a adjective. You have the adjective down here, and your phrase modifies it.
There was a first object language for one play. So,
I'm supposed to turn around, but I don't know if I changed that. So what?
Like 311. If you start it, oh, never mind, I got it.
It might help to ask, what are the questions that adverbs want answer? Yes, how, when, where, why. Why is always a good one. And how is also that. How is good, but why is always, that's always kind of a given. Alright. And then if you need help on theory of averages, on what you're gonna do. Are you studying? Oh. Yeah. If you need help on it, you can just go back to number 10 on page 12. Okay. And I do not mind if you use an elliptical, necessarily. Ellipticals can be a little harder to think of on the screen. Ellipticals actually work. You had something to say?
On number 13, is it when traveling to Hawaii? The elliptical adverb clause.
Say what?
When traveling to Hawaii?
Is that your adverb clause?
Yeah.
Okay. How would you fix it so it's not elliptical? What does it need?
While traveling to Hawaii.
What does it have? Does it have a subject?
No.
Does it have a verb? So you need to put a what into it.
Subject.
Right. So we're going to use the subject for that clause.
You know, a subject and verb in here too.
Yeah,
While you
and
are
it could be
traveling
missing,
to
yeah.
Hawaii.
So it's missing part of the verb, it's missing out the verb.
So even though Sam kicked the dog, it almost ate him. Is that an adverb clause modifying verb?
Okay. Even though Sam kicked the dog, it almost ate him. So it is modifying what word?
I want it to modify 8.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, technically, the answer to the question why, and it doesn't really, even though it's kind of a tricky, I guess it's what they want to do.
That's what? I have no idea.
Adjective, let me understand. That's all right. Okay, one other quick thing to mention is on page 18, the three moods of verbs, indicative, imperative, and subjunctive. So the indicative mood gives a statement or a fact, this imperative gives a command, and the subjunctive usually winds up being like, if I were rich, I'd own 2 yachts, or whatever, like that would be subjunctive.
That's wishful.
Yeah, but it's subjunctive as well. And also, I wouldn't own 2 yachts. But moving on. Because
What would
it's
you
in
buy
the-
if you were rich?
Is number 19
Oh, probably
indicative?
stocks or land. Say what?
Is number 19 indicative?
No.
No,
It
it's
is,
imperative.
it's imperative, it's a command, yes, follow piece of land.
I would buy a house.
Land, house.
What is B with, at number 21?
So what?
B. Isn't it imperative?
Which one?
21.
God be with you.
It's a command.
Well, it isn't really a command.
Then it's,
So this is actually a situation where it's using subjunctive. On account of, it's kind of old-timey thinking, but like if you would wish for God to be with somebody, so God be with you, that'd be subjunctive. Subjunctive verb. So, alright, everybody ready for the spelling test? Good. We're gonna get ready?
No.
Well, you will actually, just shortly.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. What about you, Leah, Chris? I'm Cody.
I'm right in the middle.
Good. Hurry up. Number your papers. If you have the number, yay! I'll give you a POD if you want it.
What did you say?
So number your papers, and if you have the number, and then I cheered for you. Also, I only have one math book in it, and I asked for everybody's.
You asked for them?
Yeah.
You asked for them? Well,
Did I-
I haven't given spirit.
Don't remember. I looked at me. Probably. Looks like everybody else did.
number 15.
Well, I don't have mine in the desk.
Mr. Cameron, 15.
I'm gonna figure out it. Something. There's just some words from the song. They're kind of like.
So if you just replace it with a pronoun instead of the freshman.
Them.
There you go. The them or they though. That's going to be the question. That is Chris's in here, so Leah's yours is this. It's all right. Just hand it in when you hand in your spelling. All right. The first 2 words are cardiology and optimism. I entered into the study of cardiology with an unfettered optimism.
Oh, cardiology.
Cardiology and optimism. And cursive. And make sure your capitalization is correct. And make sure the penmanship is good. Pretty good.
Good.
All right. Cardiology and optimism. All right, 3 and 4. Monotheism and theology. Monotheism is my theology. It is. I believe in one God. Monotheism.
They taught us in the Bible that monotheism is when they don't believe in the Trinity.
Ah.
That's what
Well,
they
that's
said in our Bible.
Monotheism and theology
And then in our English book, they said that monotheism
is
is
belief
the
in
way
one
that
God.
we believe.
What a confusing set of circumstances.
I know, you guys are-
messed up.
Well, they have to get their act together. All right, monotheism and theology. 5 and 6 are psychology and ecology. The psychology of ecology is more, is an important step.
Ecology?
Psychology and
monotheism
ecology.
what?
Monotheism and theology for 3 and 4. For 5 and 6 is psychology and ecology. The psychology of ecology is to get people to pick up their trash. That's the truth. 7 and 8. No, 6 and 7. My bad. 6 and 7 and 8. My bad. Again, 7 and 8. Geology and atheism. The study of geology has led some away from atheism. Geology and atheism.
Isn't geology the same here?
Yes. It has affected some people so that they look at the layers and they're like, oh, that could have only happened in one catastrophic flood. That could have only happened over billions of years. So geology and atheism are your 2 words for 7 and 8. 9 and 10. Yeah, God said, bang it was. 9 and 10 are communism and zoology. Communism and zoology. I do not know if there is any correlation between communism and zoology. Communism and zoology.
Remember you're like, it's impossible to use this word and this word in the same sentence, and you did.
Exactly.
Which 2 words?
I don't know what words that were.
Impossible to use like, I don't know which words.
Your next 2 words are ornithology and racism. Mark Twain talked about Jim being into ornithology as he used
Atheist?
racism. Ornithology and racism. Anyway,
As he fought
Jim killing birds was his version of ornithology, and then he used racism to call Jim names. Ornithology and racism. 13 and 14 are microbiology and pessimism. Microbiology. When I started to study microbiology, I began to see an increase in pessimism among my students. Microbiology and pessimism. Speaking of pessimism among my students, I haven't studied any higher level math recently. I should go home and do that. 15 and 16, there's neurology and biology. Neurology is the study of brains, and biology is the study of all of the body, or all living things.
Biology?
Biology is the study of all living things, and neurology is the study of the brain. Neurology and biology. 17 and 18, archaeology and patriotism. The archaeology team wasn't sure how to handle the patriotism of the French as they overthrew the government, hacked off people's heads with guillotines. Archaeology.
They were archaeologists?
Theology and patriotism. This is I can make whatever sentence I want. It doesn't have to make sense. 19 and 20 are meteorology and genealogy. Meteorology and genealogy. Meteorology and genealogy have very little in common with each other.
And
That's
what?
actually true. Meteorology and genealogy have very little in common with each other. All right, so that's 19 and 20. I'll read through those. Cardiology, optimism, monotheism, theology. And by the way, check for spelling and capital letters penmanship that I'll never understand. 3 was monotheism. I know, but some people capitalize things anyway. 4 is theology. 5 is psychology. 6, ecology. 7, geology. 8, atheism. 9, communism. 10, zoology. 11, ornithology. 12, racism. 13, microbiology. 14, pessimism. 15, neurology. 16, biology. 17, archaeology. 18, patriotism. 19, meteorology. And 20, genealogy. minutes to lunch. We'll be back here, we don't have to wait on you?
Well, wait.
Nope. That is very rare. I usually have to go looking for you.
Yeah, well, there's no clock in the room.
Yeah. There's other